Yeah, it's the 28th. Guess what?
It's the 28th.
And we're live.
And we're live. Episode 54. It's episode... Look at Emily C. Martin. Like, just boom. She's there. 2:30. And Melissa. You guys are awesome.
Still, every time I'm going to miss hearing this music 5 days a week, Tom Hoffelder.
I mean, are you?
What? Are you kidding?
I hear it in my dreams. I hear it so...
I'm just going to play it. I'm going to set it as my ringtone for anything. And my alarm when I wake up in the morning.
I kid. Welcome to Drawn to Fantasy.
Hello, Solomon.
The show for you and me.
Hello, Kyle.
I'm your host, Tony D.
Kevin Sylvester.
And my lovely wife, Ange D. Don't forget Eric and Eduardo. Is Juan on? Have you seen Juan? Is he there?
I have not seen Juan.
Okay, well, Juan, if you're listening, Juan, and I'll say it before the end of the show, you need to send me your mailing address so I can send you your junk pot. It was an epic junk pot. Ooh.
What do you think of that?
Is that Peter Gabriel?
Nah.
No, never. All right.
Chill station.
I didn't
Classical.
Okay, so
Chill lounge.
I didn't put what we're doing today yet, Ange, because I wasn't sure what we're doing today. Now, I did continue painting. Yesterday, I've got, as you all likely know, we've been working on the sleeve art for the Tales Kenny Rabbit. We've underpainted all the characters for all these components, including Mr. Kenny Rabbit here. Here he is.
You guys, take a moment. This is the second to last episode.
It is.
This is the second to last episode, you guys.
I got Dante done yesterday after I saw you. Our little show and tell, a little Dante action. So I can keep painting, or we can do another...
What do you guys want to do? Tell us what you want.
Or you can do another sketchbook. I know at one point there was a request to look at some sketches from one of my books.
Teach me how to draw something?
I could teach you how to draw something. What do you want to know how to draw?
I don't know.
Well, if you know, then I can...
Dragons were homework. Maybe you can teach me how to draw a dragon.
You want me to teach you how to draw a dragon?
What do you guys think? Is that something you're into?
Let me grab some paper. I'm going to teach you how to draw.
I don't know how to draw. I'm not...
You can draw.
I'm not a talented drawer. I don't know. Maybe you could just do this for a little warm up.
Listen, warm up would be good because I haven't done anything yet today. I've been dealing with wasps, right, Ange? It's been a waspy situation.
There's been some waspices.
Look,
Teach Ange, it says. Also, Dante is awesome. Also, Eduardo is like Dante, marry me. Yes.
These are queens. They keep showing up in the studio.
Queens.
They're queen yellow jackets. I bet this is number 9 and 10, I think.
But
we figured it out, right? We solved it. We've solved why. It turned out there was a hole in the side of the house where the wires are coming in. And
Dorothy wants to learn how to draw a dragon too. Eduardo wants to see Ange drawing.
All right. Well, I want to see it too because I have the sneaky suspicion you will give it makeup. It'll have the beauty. It'll have amazing. It'll have oh, that's right. There was a Lady Dragon strip. It'll have amazing eyeshadow or eyebrows. Look at that. I can do a perfect 2-up right there. You and me and you.
Hold on, I need dragon music to get me in the mood.
Well, you don't want mellow. This is what all dragons
No
like.
way. I want some dragons, man.
I'm gonna guess you're gonna want
Is there like a station called Dragons?
Yes, but I think it's more like drag queens. Is what you're...
Playlists. Let's look. Not Imagine Dragons.
What? They're dragons?
How to train your dragon.
Well, they're hard to train. Guys, sorry we're not as prepared as we normally are.
I know, you guys.
We're a little ill prepared. I think just because it's one of those days, and I'm used to 3. The 2:30 has thrown me on a loop.
Well, it's been a busy day, you guys. Not gonna lie.
It is.
Good stuff happening. Exciting meeting tomorrow. I'll tell you that's happening.
That is happening.
We're pumped for that.
There you go, Ange. Here's a pencil for you.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
You want to draw a dragon?
I'm trying to find something and I can't.
I think this is fine.
Okay.
I don't think it's. You need
chill.
to worry yourself about it.
Okay. All right.
So you want to learn to draw?
I will preface this by saying, the disclaimer is I am not an artist.
Well, you're a makeup artist.
I was a makeup artist. I am an author, and
you are
I don't illustrate my own books for a reason. And my nails look terrible, but ignore that.
So do mine.
So what happens? Quarantine a cure.
There you go. But you are a fartist.
No, you're the fartist.
I am. Who do you want? Do you want to learn how to draw Graham? Do you want to draw Graham?
Sure.
All right, let's start with Graham. So you want to just draw his head? Or you want to draw his whole body?
I don't know. What do you want? You're the
let's,
master.
Let's start with his head because it's fairly complicated. So we're going to start with a circle. This is going to be Grant.
So you're even good at drawing circles.
I went over that like 5 times. Okay.
Like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but mine's like that's what they say is the tale of a genius. If you can draw a circle and make it look like a circle, mine looks like a potato.
That's not a potato. This is a potato. This is more like a potato.
Look, okay, it's getting more circle-like.
Just FYI.
Okay. What if I erase this part? Do I erase it if I
Look.
don't like it?
Just so you know, that's look, I'll even put like an eye on it. That's a potato.
Okay. You guys like this? They're into it. Okay, I'm putting my hat. You guys, I'm wearing my baseball hat today. It's my lucky drawing cap.
Little Skywalker.
I'm putting
ranches.
it on backwards, like in that movie Over the Top with the arm wrestlers. I'm doing it.
Now here's a potato with a top hat.
Do I draw a potato too?
No, you just said, but see, here it is, and it's got like a Mr. Peanut thing. Okay, so here's the circle. So you think of it as a sphere. We want to draw a center line on this circle, okay?
Okay.
So
I hope you guys are doing this too, especially if you don't know how to draw.
So think of it almost like this, right?
Like, do I draw that?
Yeah, draw that.
Like an eyeball?
Well, not an eyeball. Think of it dimensionally. You know what I mean? Like a globe, a sphere.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Now also think of it going this way, like, like an atom.
Inside it?
Yeah.
Whoa, sorry, I keep whacking into
Whatever you do, don't knock the phone.
Okay,
they don't like that. They don't want to know that there's an earthquake
like that?
happening in Amherst.
That's horrible.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Look,
Now, here,
this looks like dimensional and cool.
Now look, I'm going to take this kneaded.
Okay.
I'm just going to lightly go over it. There, you don't need to press so hard, okay? Just lightly rub it. Rub it out a little bit. Get those lines. Knock them back a little bit. See how mine are? Don't be afraid.
Like
You can't completely erase it. You can just
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. You're just pressing too hard. You don't need to press so hard. Okay. Okay. You're doing good. Now we have center lines. Right here. We know where the center, right? We know that now. We've figured that out,
Like
right?
here,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, right? So we're gonna use the center line, and we're gonna figure out where Graham's muzzle is. Right?
Okay.
See that little coming off? That's gonna be the bridge of his nose right there. That's the bridge of his nose. Center right off the center, right? Now here's the thing. When you draw that circle, say you're like, well, Graham needs to be looking down. Okay, now I'm gonna do it here. Now the bridge of his nose is gonna be here, right? So this is like a guide to help me start to figure out where, you see that?
This is like his skull.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of artists will do the circle and the line, and usually if you're drawing like humans, like if you're drawing a human,
Julie, can't you tell it's a dragon?
don't read the comments right now. We're gonna do this and we'll do
Okay.
comments afterwards.
Okay.
If we did it this way, this line becomes
Like his eyeballs there?
no, it actually, you use it as the brow. This would be the brow right here. That's usually what that is for a human, and you would draw the face
Okay, stick
and the
with
jaws.
this part. 'Cause
Okay, I'm just
I
showing you. Okay. All right. So we're gonna come down like that, like a line coming down, and that's gonna be the beginning of right here. Look, see how it's connecting here and here? Do that? How I'm doing it? I'm gonna make Graham's jaw. And then come to the center. Right there, the center of his skull is where it's
okay.
going to connect.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now, I'm showing you how to draw something incredibly complicated.
Yeah, you
Graham's, well, you
I'm
asked.
like, it could have showed me how to draw like Bart Simpson or something.
You said dragon.
Just joking.
I wish they could see you with the hat backwards. You're like ready to scrap or something. I feel like
Mine kind of looks like yours. I'm excited.
you're doing good. You're doing good. Now, Graham's nose is a weird shaped thing. It kind of goes up. And then it comes down, right? It kind of goes up and then it comes down. Yep. And it's going to kind of do this, right? It's going to up. It's almost like it was loosely based on, I think, cat. I think I started with a cat, like a cat nose, like a tiger, something ferocious.
Like this?
Yeah, that's perfect.
See how you can...
Use that center line though. This line is key. You need that center line. So see how it's not, yours isn't lined up on the center line?
What isn't?
The tip of his nose.
Oh, I have to line it up?
Yeah, you want to line it on that center line. You know why? Because you know how cats have this thing in their nose?
Like their little snot gutters?
Yeah, they're snot gutter. That's exactly what the technical term is. Yeah, well.
It looks like yours. Ish.
It does, except for the fact that, remember how I told you how this comes down and goes right in the center?
Oh, yes, like that.
There we go. Now you need to erase a little bit. Yeah. And it's okay. Don't be afraid to erase.
And then this line should come this way then?
Yeah, see how look, it comes in and then it cuts over.
It comes in and then it cuts over.
Okay.
So get rid of this dude above it. Okay.
Feeling better?
Feeling mellow because it's tunes.
Yeah. Now Graham has a weird smile. Graham has like the mouth goes, just let me show you. It goes up and then it comes back, right? It's kind of goofy. So you can do this. You can draw like those
little cheek
of a cat. Yep. And you're going to have a little bit here on this side.
So
you see that?
So it goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Up.
And just draw a little round.
Yeah,
just draw a little round. Yeah, his smile's going to, you can see what the smile's going to be. Depends on the level of smile you want to give him. And then he's got the little cat. And there's a little bit of one on the other side here. Now Graham also has a lip, so it's also gonna come out a little bit, right? He's got that little top lip. Well, it's you're building it,
like
right?
That?
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Now the nose is gonna cut over like that.
Wait, what'd you do there?
I just drew the nose cutting over.
Onto the cheek?
No, cutting to the bridge. I drew that line. Okay, not bad. Now he's got nostrils, so you're gonna add those little nostrils.
How you're doing this here.
Yeah.
So you're kind of. Okay.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing good. You can even give him the little, that.
I like that little. I always
smile.
like that. That reminds me of Garfield.
Yeah, well, Graham and Garfield are very related. So we're going to use, we're going to put a line here. Well, see, his head's slightly tilted. So we're going to put right where the bridge starts to peel off the circle right here. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. We're going to put a line, another line. So we're going to put a little higher than where we had it on the center there, right? We just need the only line we're interested in is this one. But it needs to go at the angle that's round like his head. Follow the contour of it. Yep. These are going to be his eyebrows. That's what we're going to use for his eyebrows.
Does it go all the way? You're putting it all the way through the whole skull.
Well, I am, because I'm just trying, again, that you're imagining not a circle, but a sphere. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You got that?
Is that horrible?
No.
Okay.
It's not bad. It could be a little lower, but it's okay.
Do you want me to make it lower?
Well, it's right where the bridge is coming off.
There's that other line there.
It's coming off that center line. That's where you want it to kind of connect.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel too like, you got his head slightly tilted. I'm just going to angle it down a little bit like that, okay? All right, so it's going to be, this is what we're going to use. So I'm going to show you, like we're going to draw an eyebrow here and we're going to draw an eyebrow here. Now this eyebrow is going to come out and this eyebrow is going to kind of go here. Do you see that?
Okay, so this is going here.
They're like little,
And then this one's going to go
here. A little space in between. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Now,
again, I'm figuring, you guys, I hope you're drawing along with me. It's like teaching it. Actually, I shouldn't even say it's like teaching a child to draw because our kid can draw better than this.
I'm just going to lighten it all up.
Yeah.
It's a little heavy, so you can see what line. Now, reinforce. You can start to reinforce the lines
Whatever
that you know are
like
important.
the
line. Well, watch. I'm going to do it too. Okay, and now I'm going to reinforce the lines that count. This line counts, right, for his nose. Right, here's his little, look, when I do this part, I'm going to give him that little tuft. He has that little tuft of hair on his nose.
Okay.
You see that?
Dang.
His little bridge.
This looks like a butt.
Where? Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need this anymore, right?
Okay,
that's gone.
The crack, butt crack?
No, you know where the center is now. Now you've got it.
Okay.
Right? And you've got the lip.
Mm-hmm. Got that lip.
And you've got the little kitty cat part here. See that?
I'm feeling it.
Okay. And then you've got his little smiler.
Yeah. I think this looks pretty good.
Okay. Let's go ahead and finish the... So look, we have that center line here, but his jaw actually tapers, so we're going to cut it down like that. We're going to connect it that way. You see that?
Yeah. Oh, I see it.
And then it's going to cut down a little bit, and then he's got his little beard.
Beard.
So in the first book,
this is getting real. That's where you get creative. Got to erase
well,
potato.
I got to erase my potato. Sorry, potato, Mr. Potato Head. It's got to go. Now in the first book, Graham had a beard like this. He had a long, wispy beard like that.
Okay.
In the new book, he has more of a goat. He's grown it more like this. It's more like this kind of beard, like a goat. So it's up to you what kind of beard. You give him whatever kind of beard you want to give him.
I'm really feeling this beard.
You give him whatever kind of beard you want.
Ooh, this is bad. Yours looks like a claw.
Well, it's
Yours
like a
is
tuft
cool.
of hair.
Like a little cat claw.
It's not meant to be a cat claw. Cat claw is not what I had in mind when I was drawing the beard. You could even braid it if you wanted him to braid it into,
Mine looks like an arm.
That's good. It's just
good.
it's good. It's wispy. It's good. It's good. I like it. All right, so there you go. Here's his little beard, right? Okay. So now we're gonna follow the rest of his jawline,
Yep.
and in the corner of his jaw here, he has a little tuft of fur as well. He has a little fur right there.
How far is this gonna come back?
Remember, it went right to here.
Okay,
that's it. His jaw.
Okay.
Okay.
And then this has got a furry tuft.
Mm-hmm. A little furry tuft. He's got a little fur. He's scruffy. He's furry.
Scruffy looking
Furry.
nerf
Yeah.
herder.
Yeah. And he's got a little bit of this right here, right? The little smile, a little tuft of fur there too.
I'm gonna get rid of a little bit of this so I can
Get that in there.
enjoy that little furry spot.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's get to. It's going to get a little tricky, Ange, because this is the eyes.
Great. Now it's getting tricky.
Now it's going to get tricky because we're going to do the eyes. We've got the muzzle done. The muzzle was the most common. We built this whole muzzle off the skull, his skull, right? Yeah. Now we've got to do the muzzle, or do the eyes, and the eyes is where I erase the most. So I may not get it right. So we've got his eyebrow. We know where his eyebrows are, right? The guide for those. A little lower. Now look, watch me. A little lower. I'm going to put the center line for his eyes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. A little bit lower, right? Now, I'm going to draw his pupils and where I want him to look. So I'm going to have him looking, I don't know yet. I'm going to draw. I usually just draw a little circle, and then what I do is I draw the other circle.
Okay.
Now, generally, eyes are on the average human face. The rule of thumb is your eyes are one eye apart, right? So human eye, you should be able to fit a third eye. They're usually one eye width apart. That doesn't apply to dragons.
It actually looks like that would be one eye apart.
That doesn't apply to dragons.
I could fit a third eye.
So here's what I do, Ange. I usually do the upper lid. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just draw the upper lid kind of like that, like he's looking. And I do the other one. Yeah, not bad.
Thank you.
All right, then you can do a little bit. I don't always do. Now, Graham's old, so you could do this. Well, I also do this. I figure out where you can do it this way. You're like, all right, the bottom of the eye is going to kind of come over.
Like a little almondy kind of.
It's a little almond. Yeah, it's a little like this, Ange. I'm going to draw it big for our viewers at home. It's kind of like here's the pupil. I usually do kind of the lash. Then a lot of times I just do a straight line, and then I usually just kind of come up. And sometimes I draw this bottom lid, but more often than not, I do this. I get it heavier here and here to where the lashes would be. So the line becomes a little heavier, and sometimes I'll even erase this line out or lighten it up.
Mine looks like a snagglepuss.
Yeah, see, and that's because that line's so heavy, it now looks like he has like eyeliner.
And then would I do one here too?
Yeah, and generally that second eye, because it's a little further away, that eye would actually be a little more like that. Well, it's more this shape actually. You know what I mean? But we're not going to get into that. It's a little much.
Hey, look, I just did that though.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the other thing I do. Then I give him a little bit of a lid, right? Graham has a little bit of a lid. Mm-hmm. And he definitely has
what smiley lines?
Well, he's got bags under his eyes. He's old. Oh. And then he also has little, I usually give him a couple crow's feet. Okay. You with me? Now we have the basic eyebrow, but his eyebrows can be a little more arched. They can be, we're just doing kind of a neutral. So generally I do like this. I give him a couple little hair tufts, And usually it's a little arched. I usually do that. So I build a little...
My eyebrows always look like... This goes above the lid.
It can. It all depends on what his...
My eyebrows always look like drag queens.
Well, I don't think Graham would be adverse to that. So it just depends on how much... So that's the bottom of the brow. Now draw the top with the hairs. The tufts. Try this. See this shape that you drew originally? That's your guide. Let that be your guide.
Okay, so it should go up there?
Yeah, so like here.
Oh, you're going way up.
Well, look at them.
Yeah.
They're like...
Yeah, you're right.
They're like half... They're half oranges. Here. Let me show you what we got. There's Graham from the... Look at those things. They're old. He's got old... He's got crazy...
Goes down like...
Crazy bushy old man. They can go down. They hang down. Sometimes they're up. So it just depends.
Like I should thin out some of these little guidelines to redefine what I'm...
There you go.
There you go.
That's what that's all about.
Oh my gosh. The gummy eraser. Yeah, guys. Listen to the smooth vibes we got going.
It's to keep you calm while we're drawing...
I need to.
Drawing dragons. We're imagining dragons and we're drawing dragons.
I like it. This one goes away, right? This chin line, or do we need that still?
We will not need that. That was just our center line for to get to his jaw. So we understood it. And frankly, it's probably a little steep. Usually I cut Graham's jaw and even a little more. It's a little square. I usually cut it in a little more. But it's.
You did like this kind of double vibe, and then that's a nostril. Like that's a nostril, right?
Yeah. I can do that where you kind of build it out like it's like a cat nose. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're not that. We're still working. So here we've got his brow, right?
Yep.
Comes down. You get maybe a little bit of that. Now, off, right above, right kind of off this same line with his cheek. He's smiling pretty hard, so he's got these big, this going on. Right off the same line, center line, is where his ears are going to be. And his ears are they're essentially kind of like a diamond. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine a diamond that comes off like that, okay?
Okay.
And you can put that up, down, you can angle it anywhere, but you want it to...
It looks like it starts right at the end of...
It's literally just behind where his jaw, just like a human, where your jaw connects into your skull. It's right behind it.
Okay.
Is where his... Yep. And then...
That's like a magic carpet ride there.
Yeah. And then we're going to take the little gummy, and we're going to lighten it again. And then you can use that as your guide to watch. See? That's like his little ear. That's his ear. Let me know if you need the... Yeah, it's always a little... Okay.
Okay, wait, you did this little thingy in here. This
little
shape.
Yeah, because he's got an ear like a again, maybe like a goat, or more really rabbity ears, because he's got that kind of curl. I don't know what that part of the... But, think of it like this. This is kind of what his ear looks like. And then this would be all fine hair in here, and then this is the...
I feel like...
and then his is kind of chipped up from
Joaquin
adventures.
Phoenix in Gladiator. Are you entertained?
Maybe. They might be. We'll see. So far, so good.
Skip dragons and do another goblin.
Heidi likes it. So, all right. Yeah, kind of donkey ears, Alfonso. You're onto it.
It's actually fun to look at it in the screen. It doesn't look as bad as I think it looks. Sometimes I do a doodle in like a notebook or something when I'm writing, and then I find it years later and go, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
Welcome to being me. Welcome to that. Doesn't matter how fancy you painted it. You still look at it and you go, huh. Okay, so the trick of his horns, the horns line up. You ready for this?
Yes.
They line up with the center of his eyes. So if you imagine you don't even need to draw a line. Maybe you do. But if you imagine a line going up our sphere, following the sphere like a basketball. See this? See what I'm doing? And the other one. See what I'm doing? That's going to be the start of his horns. See that? Whoomp and whoomp. You see that? They come right off the center of his eyes.
And then like that.
Yeah. If you look here, you can see it. If you look here, you can see the line. The center of his horns lines up with the center of his eyes.
Do that? Like, what is the...
What's the point?
Yeah.
Just so I can draw them consistently. I mean, I could make it up anywhere, how way I want to, but when I have to draw them over and over again from different angles, I need some kind of rules as to how I'm going to draw them.
Okay.
Okay, now his horns are like this. If you looked at them from the side, they arch, and then they kind of flip up at the end.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
And then, now hold on, they're not pointed, they're squared off, and then they kind of come back.
Elephant trunk.
You could say it's kind of like an elephant trunk, sure.
It's kind of elephant trunk.
Or a horn. So you want to go...
Or a path, a diminishing path.
Yeah, so you want to go up, and then the other one's going to go, it's more shorter because it's further away, right? So, do you see that?
Yep, and up.
And then a little line here, the top of the horn. And then I'm going to follow that part straight down.
Yes.
And then I'm going to tuck it in right in front of the ear.
I'm going to follow that part and tuck it right in the ear.
So here we're going to do the other one. It's going to go like that. Okay, now that center line that we drew way back when, that's where his little, those things go, like the iguana jingamabobs. That's what those are called technically. They're called jingamabobs. You're looking good. Now, we have to figure out the rest of his head. So.
Oh my gosh, I did it. I'm so far.
So I'm going to take this.
I hope you guys are doing this. I really do.
So I'm going to take this line, and we're going to draw, the way his neck goes is we're going to come down like this. Watch. It's going to come right down.
So we're going to go here, and then come
straight
right
down.
Yep.
Now, Graham has a dewlap. The dewlap starts behind his beard, a little bit behind his beard. Now, before we get to the dewlap, though, let me do this. Let's do this really quick. So we have the skull. We know where the other side of his neck is, right? Because we know where the other side of his skull is. We can see through his skull, and we can draw the rest of his neck is going to go like this. Now, most necks are more... at least on Graham, but on birds and certain dinosaurs, often they're depicted, they're thicker where they're around the skull to hold the skull up, right? Right? Very good. Now you're going to take, now this too, if you follow that center line.
You guys, I'm focusing so hard.
If you follow that center line to right where it would connect with the neck, guess what we have now? The center of his neck. Do you see that? I followed that center line on that circle, and now I have the center of his neck. Now I can take just behind the his beard. Now, where does it connect? We know where it connects because now we know where the center of his neck is. So you can give it a lot of sag. You can pull it. Now, when Graham's head is upright like this, it's going to have a lot of sag. If he was leaning forward,
this is the dewlappy bit.
Yes, if he was leaning forward, it'd be stretched, right?
Yeah,
like this, like a lizard. But he's not. It's the rock. So we're going to do this. Watch. We're going to go wonk.
Connect it to that center line.
And connect it to that center line.
Wonk.
And you can put more of these little lizardy scales like this. Bump, bump. Little, look, they're just like little W's.
Remember how we were going to team up on that new book together, Dee?
Don't need me anymore.
I don't need...
You don't need me anymore. You can do your little...
little
W's.
The little wiggle. Little W's. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And you can add some W's back. You'd see a few of them back here probably.
Oh, man. Where does those... Okay, so they're going to start up a little higher.
Technically, you wouldn't see them. Honestly, you wouldn't really see them. Because if you follow this around, you know, the back of his neck is probably here. But I cheat it. I cheat it so you can see them. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, now... I'm
listening up, guys. Now I've been warming up now.
Yeah, now we have a couple... honestly, you could... I feel like it's a little dense right there. So you want to just maybe... Again, you're just kind of hitting it. Again, see how I'm almost like sweeping it, Ange? I've got a little pressure I'm putting on it, but I'm just kind of sweeping it across.
Okay. And
now I'm going to reinforce all those lines, the ones that count. So I'm going to do his eyebrows first. Here. And when you do it, just use them as a guide. Don't trace. You can redraw, but now you're kind of... I wouldn't say this is... Mine, the proportions are a little off, so I wouldn't say it's Graham, but maybe Graham's brother.
I think this is part of what comes to with not being a confident drawer. Is like I tend to be like either too light or too firm.
Yeah, that's okay. That's just learning the... So I'm just reinforcing the lines we created, and then I'll show you some little details that we can do to add to it.
Dogs are excited.
Well, they want to learn how to draw too.
Sun's coming up. Or down, I should say.
Yeah, I'd say this is more like Graham's brother. He's got...
That's all right.
A little different than...
That's, you're breaking it down for me, honey.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a couple...
Wait, this eyebrow needs to get redefined.
There you go. Good.
And then should I erase some of these dudes?
It's up to you.
Because I feel like I can see his face a little bit more. your cheeky thing looks better here.
What, this little thing?
Yeah, something about... Okay.
But you can see how it's so easy to be off. It could all be, the proportions could be off just a little bit, and it doesn't look like Graham. Like it's Graham, but it's not Graham. This is where the, like, the, you know, really...
It's a younger Graham.
Yeah, it's just hard to get that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last but not least, a couple things to add. You can add the, if you were to draw lines like this on there, on the
butt cheek, on the...
And then you can put the, whatchamacallits, the little,
like
those
little
dudes.
whisker lines?
Yeah, the whisker lines. I always give Graham whiskers that are almost like a little mustache, so they always go up like that, like he's got a little mustache. If you want to do that.
And then, where you just do them on the outside?
Yeah, just do them right here. That's usually what I do, almost like a cartoonist. Like I don't...
See, look how effortless, even that little whisker. And then look at that. That's like...
It's fine.
No, but...
It's not.
You know what I mean? You know when I do rhyme and you're like, oh, inch.
Yeah.
You make it look...
Effortless.
That looks really wonky. I like the first one.
It's almost when you're not thinking and you're just going. All right, the other thing we can do is a little bit of his...
whiskers here, too?
You can. You more than often, I don't draw them because you never really see them. There's so much going on there. So I generally don't. He does have a little bit of... You can add a little bit of a smile right there with his teeth.
Hey, Soph.
Hi.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
And then he's always got at least... Right here, at least one snaggle, if not a couple teeth that you see.
Puppies.
That remind us
Puppies.
that he's a dragon.
What do you think, Soph?
That's pretty good.
Okay. I was saying...
Yeah, that's good. And then he's got this kind of... he has like behind the bridge of his nose. Again, I got this from a cat. He has these dark hairs kind of here.
On this kind of bridge of his nose?
Yeah, yeah. And it kind of helps sculpt and define the bridge of his nose so that we get the shape of it.
You know what? This is fun.
Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. His horns kind of come down like this if you want to almost like think of it like stripes.
Look at me.
Look at you. You don't need me anymore. I am obsolete.
No, it's not the truth.
So I'm going to go back and draw that. Remember that line? That's the line of the sphere there?
Yes.
And then we're going to use that, and, you know, we're pretty much got Graham. You can add a few... Oh, he always has, like, wrinkles around his neck. I just do them with, like, you know, they would be... You know, lizards always have these...
You do these little lines, too.
Oh, yeah, we can do those. Yeah, sure. So, I'm going to redefine the neck
here. I'm going to let Tony return you to your regularly...
So those scales, actually, those neck scales actually help create contour. So you don't just want to do them like this. You don't just want to go like that, because that doesn't work, right? You actually want them, if you think of his neck like a tube, you want him to go like, you want him to follow the shape of that.
So they have to be round, scoopy.
Yeah, you want him to follow the shape of that tube like this. So it gives a little contour to his neck. And then the same here when you do the ones in the back, you know. You can even add extras, like, and I do the little, usually I do the little fish scale.
This is a lesson more in not judging yourself.
No, just to see if you can do it.
Of course, I've judged myself the entire time throughout this process, but
we did it. We drew him. Yeah. And he's got extra, I mean, his ear's a little small. You can, but the great thing is now you know the shape. You can just go, oh, the ear's too small. Usually this is what I do. I just erase it and just draw it here. I just draw it over a little bigger like this. And then you can always, he has a tuft of hair. I've been kind of giving him a little, he's got tufts of hair everywhere. Break that a little bit. I usually push the jaw. I had to go straight up here. I usually push it a little bit behind his.
This length. Now I see it coming
you can start
together.
Yeah, you can start kind of tweaking it and
what?
Changing it.
What do you guys think? I haven't been reading your comments, but I'm excited to, and I'll definitely go back and review them. They are brothers.
Yeah, you read a comment. I'm going to grab a glass of water. I'll be right back.
Oh, you get me a water too, honey?
I will. I'll be right back.
It's kind of neat. You know what it is? It's just like his mind can see what he wants it to look like, and then when he draws it, it comes out looking like it looks in his mind. And when you are not used to flexing that muscle, I feel like it feels very unnatural at first. I feel, yeah, every time I draw, I do like to like doodle and draw faces. I'll be like, but I always, will be like, oh, there's an eyebrow, and here's an eyelid, and then here's a lid, and here's an eye. And then I end up, I don't know, I'm just doing this, but I end up, I like doing the highlight in there. It's from being a makeup artist, and we had to do like face charts and stuff all the time. Yeah, lots of practice, you're right. Absolutely. And we'd have to use, what happens if I use Tony's pencil? Is this the magic pencil? Does it have like memory and it knows how to draw? No. So we'd have to do face charts, which is kind of like a little drawing, and then you would add, again, this is pathetic, but you get the idea. And I mean my nails here. Try not to judge, but I would always draw faces because from doing makeup, but I would always have to do like half a face often. So we would have to do the face charts, which if you were going to design a makeup, it's kind of like a drawing of a face. Tony's magical pencil. And you would have the drawing of a face, kind of under drawing, and then you add color to it with makeup. I was just saying how I always draw, when I do draw, I draw faces. Mm-hmm. And then the eyebrows are always like well, they're not drag queen, they're my eyebrows pretty much. Mm-hmm. I guess because I'm used to seeing my own face.
Most artists draw their own face.
Really?
Unconsciously, because it's the face you see the most.
Is that why, like, Scott Fisher, so many of his women look like TT, or so many of your women look like me?
Right, then that changes as you're spending time with someone else, but when you're younger...
You're using yourself as the...
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will now return you guys to your regularly scheduled Tony program.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Well, you got you drawing and me hanging on the side. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
We'll include that in the jump pot. At least mine. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, put mine in there too.
You want to do
Go
it?
for it. Absolutely. Thanks for the agua, honey.
It's right there.
Thank you.
I think we're going to do live by request tomorrow, right? Is that what we're doing tomorrow?
I don't know, are we?
I don't know. We can do a little live by request. We got a little bit of time left before the end of our show today.
For entertaining me, or for allowing me to entertain you.
Drawing some dragons. The great thing is that was Graham, and Graham is round shapes. So to take it one step further, he's kind of squares and he's rounds and he's scruffy. These are kind of the things, and he's smiley. He's almost like an old man, right? And he's got horns, but his horns are kind of bent and there's no points to his horns. These are all conscious decisions of making Graham kind of a likable, lovable character, right?
Draw a goblin. The goblin has been in heavy rotation request.
I will do it. I will do a goblin. I just was going to compare Graham to the dragon, to the Spiderwick dragon. Now, the Spiderwick dragon is a different type of dragon. It's wild, it's feral, it's vicious. So it is based on triangles.
Thank you, guys.
So that dragon is more like a predatory bird or a reptile. It also has horns, but its horns are twisted and come to points, right? It has ears, and they're also very pointy. Its eyes are more serpentine, and it comes into like a beak. So the Spiderwick dragon is a very different... It snarls. Not that Graham can't snarl, but its basic construction is, you can see, is very different.
Were you guys drawing when I was drawing? Could you, like...
Oh, yeah. I wonder if anybody... I'm sure.
I'm curious. Were you guys doing it, too? All right. Show us a goblin.
All right. So that just guys gives you an idea with the difference between understanding the character and how... and how Graham is one type of dragon and the Spiderwick dragon is something else. So a goblin, are we talking about a Dungeons and Dragons goblin or a Spiderwick goblin? Again, very different. I mean,
D&D goblin, because those are funny.
D&D goblins are basically misshapen humans. So I generally give them very large heads.
You guys, sorry to interrupt, upload it to the page if you drew a Graham or a sibling of Graham or a Graham lookalike along with us. Post it to the Drawn to Fantasy fan page. I want to see how your drawings came out.
So my goblins generally are very large heads, small chests, sometimes a belly, extremely long arms, and large feet. That's my general kind of goblin shape. Just figure out where his kneecaps are. And so the head is very large, like I said. So again, we're going to draw a circle, like what's the center of this? And now this I'm going to stay heavy on that because I want the brow to be kind of...
So the globe, that's like the indicator of where everything's going.
Yeah, use it as a...
Does that offer you symmetry, or what is the... Why do you do that? I mean, I see that artists do that, but why do they do that? Like, why is that under structure?
Because that's the general shape of a skull, is a sphere.
Okay.
And then it's really just a matter of squash and stretching the...
Yeah, you guys were drawing awesome.
I tend to make the eyes. Now, see, great things happen. So we have those rules. When we understand the rules of anatomy, then you can start breaking the rules of anatomy by making... Yeah, right? So if I put the eyes too close together, it gives it a look, right? I make the nose too large, or I can make it square, I can make it round. It also adds a look to it too. You know? I put teeth protruding from the bottom, and it gives it kind of a... You can see how it makes it look more goofy and oafy. Even if I don't make him cross-eyed, even if I make him like looking around, like let's say he's looking this way, you can see he's got a certain look.
Kaylee Lewis, I saw what you posted on Instagram, and I love it. Looks awesome. When are we going to see DiTerlizzi Art School open for business?
Oh my gosh. Well, we did it for... You got 55 hours will be free. So here's kind of just a general, and you know, you can either point the ears or not point the ears. So that's like a general, like how I would start the shape of a goblin. And then once you kind of understand that and you can draw that, then you can have more fun with the shape. So you can do things like this, where like I just create this and I'm like, all right, I'm going to draw a goblin within this.
So how do you determine, like, you're like, is that just your own opinion where you're like, oh, I want the ears to be this big, or the eyebrows to be this big?
Your own aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's totally, it's the aesthetic. And so, you know, here, I'll give you an example. So I'll push this goblin to the side. So Brian Froud, here's where it really gets interesting. So the way Brian Froud works, and hopefully you guys know who Brian Froud is. He's mentioned many times as one of my big heroes. So two things. Arthur Rackham and Brian Froud. So Rackham would have drawn from life. He would have probably had children pose, and he would have drawn very accurate skulls for a goblin. And he would twist it, but it would be very, like, kind of contained. He would sometimes maybe give it big eyes.
You changed pencils, why?
I did not change. I just grabbed your pencil because it's easier to hold. Mine was turning into a stub. It's their same number 2 pencil.
I want Tony to re-illustrate Harry Potter too. That would be super cool.
So Rackham would base everything on real life, and it would be very, like, where you'd really see it would be in the this part here, the musculature. He understood anatomy so well that you would see the muscles would be drawn correctly. And I'm doing a really lousy job of it, guys, because I don't have any reference. I'm just drawing this out of my...
We want to see yours.
Well, I'm just kind of showing... You asked about the aesthetic. So I'm kind of showing you how one artist would work. And I'm going to contrast it with... And by the way, Rackham's sketches are not much bigger than what I'm doing. They're very small because his finished illustrations were generally about 100%. They're not real big. Froud does this. Abstract. It starts abstract. What's the mind do? Now where's the goblin? That's how Froud works. Froud finds the faces in the most unlikely of things. Now, of course, I can make it look Froudy because I know exactly, I'm making decisions similar to what Brian Froud would make. That doesn't mean you'll make those same decisions. But this is kind of how Froud works. Right? But Brian also loves other art. I mean, he loves Rackham, he loves Hieronymus Bosch and Bruegel and all those other types of artists from that era as well, right? So this is kind of how Froud would do it. Tony D kind of has, it's kind of a mixture of animation. It's all those things, because I think of like I think of Don Bluth's Dragon's Lair, and I think of Rankin and Bass's Hobbit. So I'm all like, I like exaggerating, where the eyes are really, because I love like old, Felix the Cat and things like that. So Ange, I'm looking at all this really old timey stuff as well.
I think this is, regardless of what you're drawing, how you're drawing it, I do think that knowing the foundation of the anatomy is really important.
Yes. So I know anatomy well enough that I can do like a gesture, like I'm drawing right now, and that's all this is, just gesture, and kind of come up, and kind of push it to come up with something. And by the way, this is very similar to how Peter DeSev works, because he and I have talked about this, that although we did not know each other growing up, and nor have we spent very much time together, we essentially are looking at a lot of the same things and work in a very similar way with just different results.
You got it next, Barton. I changed the soundtrack a little bit.
So you can kind of see the difference in
that looks like a bush baby. The big eyes.
Yeah, I was thinking of like Felix the Cat. But that could be a goblin, right? Because you could put a little hat on him, and you got a little dark crystal going, huh?
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
I do. Maybe a little. It's got a little cape. That kind of thing. So the other thing I do when I do this kind of stuff too is I also, so here you can see this was a very kind of, I was on my way to a very traditional, like you said, like draw like a Dungeons and Dragons goblin. This is a very traditional kind of, like you said, like kind of like Hoggle, very standard, goblin. You could, he could have a little bit of a cape. Let's see, maybe he's holding some kind of weapon, maybe a shield. Can make the shield really big. They'll make him look smaller.
Labyrinth sequel was announced, right?
Labyrinth sequel was announced. If you guys didn't see that news, they have announced a sequel to Labyrinth. However, I will point out, and I'm not being a cynic or whatever, but this is the third time they've announced a Labyrinth movie in the works. So I'm hopeful that it'll A, get made, and B, will be good. I would love to return back to Labyrinth, I hope. Make me want to.
How does Baptiste Monge draw?
Jean.
It's like, I love this. It's like, Tony, it's like...
Jean-Baptiste Monge also would use photo reference. Monge's stuff, he's also steeped in Rockwell like me. So I suspect, and I don't know, but looking at it, it's all about a very large head and a very tiny body. If you reduced his stuff to basic shapes, it's almost like a Peanuts character, right? But the difference is it's skinned in that total realistic Rockwellian thing. So you have a very,
Everybody's very worried about that Labyrinth sequel. I'm not disagreeing with that also. And Nadine, you mentioned the choice of director and the writer, and
so the director did whatchamacallit, right? The Doctor Strange.
Yes. And then turned down doing Doctor Strange 2 and is doing
Labyrinth. It's very appealing.
And what about that's the director
That's the
Who's
director.
the writer, though? The writer wasn't somebody you'd really heard of.
Yeah.
No.
That doesn't mean anything, though.
It doesn't mean anything, but it does mean that they don't want to pay someone a lot of money.
Yeah. I've wondered that with even the J.K. Rowling project she has that she announced, where children can kind of illustrate her book, and my first thought was she didn't want to pay an illustrator.
I don't think so.
I mean,
That's
part of it's
not
like
her. That's no. I disagree.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I think it's
Well, first of all, she doesn't have it. Well, I think she wanted to put it out immediately. And
Yeah.
then they're going to bind it into a book. So she wanted something. She'd been working on it
for a while. Anyway, Manja's like that.
It's how I'm very quick to defend my pal Joe Rowling. I'm like, no, she would never do that.
No, I mean, hey, I would love to see Sophia participate. I'm not, I just wondered. So anyway,
Soph should illustrate it. We should submit some illustrations.
So that's kind of how Manja's is very these almost super kind of cartoony proportions, but then painted and drawn very realistic, which is not unlike how I generally like to work as well. Which is
draw Garfield?
Garfield the Cat. I used to draw Garfield the Cat all the time.
I know. That's.
He's pretty complicated. The weird part of Garfield, now I'm drawing him from memory, I don't have any reference in front of me, is there's weird isms around his mouth, I remember. So let me see if I can remember. His head's pretty big. The last time I drew Garfield, I think was for Jarek Krasaska's birthday.
That's right, for his.
I drew a Garfield for him because he's huge. He's a huge
fan. Let's see. Maybe they could use your idea and make Lady Gaga the Goblin Queen.
Yeah.
I know. Who's that gonna be? Somebody said, oh, what's that dude's name from like Panic at the Disco?
Oh, really?
Somebody mentioned. Well, they didn't say it was gonna be him, but somebody's like, oh, I'd be into it if it was him.
But I also think if it's Lady Gaga, some people are going to be like, oh, barf. You know what I mean? Like, you're not... Because even at the time, David Bowie, some people are like, huh, that's interesting. Let's be honest. I mean, not everybody was... 80s David Bowie was not revered the way it is true. Now. 80s David Bowie, a lot of people were like, what happened to David Bowie? Do Garfield's eyes connect? They do, right?
Yep.
Yes, they do. So he's kind of... And there's like a weird, like this around the mouth. It's like a very kind of a weird thing around the mouth. And does he have hairs here or something?
Brendan Urie, that's who it is, Dean. Somebody was like, maybe Brendan Urie could be the Goblin King. And I love him. I think he's awesome.
Yeah,
but man,
I don't know.
I mean, the idea of being like, and here's someone else as the Goblin King, to me, that's like, here's someone else as Mary Poppins. I was not into it.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not for you.
Draw orc.
The thing is, it's not for you, right? It's for the next generation. It's their version of it that they'll grow up with.
Or a Rankin and Bass Goblin. That was Don Higgins' request.
I like this Goblin dive.
In
fact, while we're on Garfield, the Rankin and Bass Goblins are not much different than Garfield here. They're almost all head, right? They're this giant head, this big face, right, with these cat eyes, right? And again, I'm drawing these from memory, so I don't know. And they've got these giant kind of maws, right, with these little ears. And I can't remember if they wear hats or whatever. And then their bodies are literally this, like they're just like almost this.
Or long dangly arms.
They're really, yeah. They may even have like muscled arms. You're right. They could be like kind of clawed out like this, but they're very like. I remember them being. I almost feel like they had these kind of malicious smiles.
Yeah, don't even replace the Goblin King. Like,
don't replace the Goblin King.
No, you're not going to be like, and this is the Goblin King's brother.
No, that's why I was like the
Goblin Queen, Lady Gaga. That's just cheesy to me.
See, I would have. The other thought was to make Sarah become the Goblin Queen, so you get Jennifer Connelly back. And she's the Goblin Queen, almost like the girl in Legend when near the end when she succumbs to the dark side, and then maybe her kid rescues her from the dark side. But what would put her there? What would what I mean? I guess
Swinton. I agree with you.
But she's so Bowie-like.
Yeah, she's cool though. I mean, she's she's definitely got such a uniqueness to her.
She's very Bowie-like already. Anyway, that's kind of the Rankin and Bass Goblins. Again, I don't have them in front of me.
What would your Goblin King look like?
Me?
Yeah.
The way as he's portrayed in the
like not Bowie. Like if you're gonna do a Goblin.
A new one?
Yeah.
Does he represent all the things David Bowie's character Jareth represents? The kind of...
You can represent whatever you want.
Well, listen, he represented more than being just a goblin. It's kind of a coming of age and how she... That is totally what that movie's about, is her
obviously.
looking at the grown-up world. I don't think it was an accident that his pants were very tight and... So it's like, how much of that do I... is he that kind of a character? He was actually very anime if you deconstruct that. He's very anime.
Super anime.
Gee, I don't know what I would do. Well,
Tony has dressed up as Jareth before. That was one of our Halloween costumes. I'll find reference.
Because you want him to look fantastic, but there was nothing really 80s about it. I guess the hair is kind of 80s. It's kind of like Blade Runner hair.
A mullet-esque in shape.
I really am at a loss. I feel like this is not something I could do off the cuff.
All right.
I feel like this is something that would require
It reminds me of your Elric that you didn't do that.
Yeah, a deep exploration of, and also cinematically what would look cool. So the other part of me is like, he's a good-looking guy. Let's say a Orlando Bloom kind of, I
like some Orlando Bloom.
And maybe it's, instead of where Bowie's hair was all kind of up, maybe it's this. It's this long white Elric hair. Or he's he's a person of color, so it's this dark skin with white, like this, like crazy blue-white hair. Might be interesting in the ears. So it's almost like a elfy. I guess he is kind of elfy. I mean, that might be interesting. I don't know. And he's a king, so maybe the crown is... I guess that's very, what's his face, in Lord of the Rings. I didn't even think about that. He kind of looks like Lord of the
Which one?
The elf guy. My brain's...
Oh, the dad?
Yeah.
Elf dad?
Elrond.
Elrond Hubbard?
No, not Elrond. Elrond. I think it's Elrond. I don't know. My brain's cold. But, he could be maybe... it could be...
Looking for something.
I know this is very ethereal. I don't know if this is what anybody would even want. But the idea of that the hair is really... I would just maybe go the other way with it. And... I don't know what his crown, though. Depending on what kind of... I mean, it could be this cool... It depends on what kind of character. I mean, it could be like bones and bird skulls and berries. I don't know.
I like it.
You like that, huh?
I mean... I don't know if I like it as much as I like this.
As David Bowie. Well, who can...
Come on! Wait.
Have you ever held a bubble and looked into the center of
really, look at that.
it? Dreamed about a bubble.
Come on! You asked if I ever did Tony's makeup. The answer's yes.
Should I dress up like that tomorrow for our final?
You should dress up like that.
I don't have the wig anymore.
Come on, that was awesome.
We loaned the wig to someone and it...
Never returned. Well, we gave it to him because he wore it for a while and
got sweaty.
Not,
I don't want anybody's head.
Like, you just keep it.
I don't need the head sweat on me.
Exactly.
That was pre-COVID.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That's why I was so quiet, you guys.
You really were.
I know we have to be somewhere, Tom Half-Elder.
Yes.
Tom's kicking us out. He's like, get out of here, guys.
Tom, thank you for paying attention to the clock.
I know. He's like, start saying goodbye, everyone.
So there you go. My version of a Goblin King, but I don't think it's that interesting. So there it is, Ange. If you want to cue up the music, and we've got a junk pod for today.
Yes.
Someone's going to get a bunch of goblin studies. Okay. Goblins everywhere.
I wasn't even
thinking about that.
On my thing.
All right, you look on their thing. While you're doing that, I will also sweeten the junk pot.
Oh, this person won, so I'm not picking that person.
Speaking of goblins, the winner today will also receive a signed, that's right, I signed it, copy of the Spiderwick Chronicles on DVD, which has bonus stuff. You can see my fat head talking about Spiderwick Chronicles. There's some goblins there. Now you know why I went for like weird, evil toad frogs. Tried to come up with something different in the world of goblins.
All right.
You'll also get a set of DiTerlizzi postcards. It's all 6 postcard set. There you go. You can write some notes to your friends from quarantine, wishing them well. And last but not least, another very rare item that has never been available, I think, online. This was again made for the Mint Museum. It's your own journal. It's your own sketchbook, little Tony D sketchbook, and it's got this like, I don't even know if you can see. It's like real smooth. It's got this kind of real soft, matte, super matte, like hard matte finish, which is pretty cool. And I've already made it look faux dingy, so you don't have to worry about it getting dirty because it already looks like it's kind of dirty already.
That's sweet.
So there it is, as well as, let's not forget, Ange, a copy of...
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, an advanced reader's copy of Kenny and the Book of Beasts. It's all getting sent to some lucky viewer today. Ange is working away thinking she has a winner. She's writing the winner's name down
I always
now.
write it down because sometimes they fall back in the feed.
Yes.
Okay, so this is who I'm picking.
Okay, great.
So yesterday our winners were Juan Esti, just a reminder, and Charity Muniz.
Yes, Charity, you already got me your address. Thank you. Juan, if you're listening, please direct message me your mailing address so I can get your package out to you of goodies. And so today's winner is...
Hold on one sec. First I want to say thank you guys for joining us today and watching me draw and drawing along with me and Tony. We are so excited for tomorrow. If you guys can tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m., please join us. We have something very special planned for all of you. And of course, an opportunity to win another amazing junk pot.
The king of all junk pots.
Yes, it is. It's happening. So
here we go.
Put on our theme, courtesy of Tom Hoffelder. Oh, here we go.
You ready?
It said an error occurred. What's up with that? Oh,
Well,
there it is.
Tom's already kicked in the copyright, and it's
Yeah,
reverting.
exactly.
It's reverting back to him.
You're done.
All right, you guys ready? The junk pot winner today is...
Okay. Penny Serrano Ramirez.
Penny! Penny! Penny Serrano, you are the winner of this fabulous junk pot, as well as some sketches and things that Ange and I did. If you could direct message me your mailing address, I will send you all these goodies, and I will even sign this to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, letting me teach Angela how to draw Graham the Dragon, letting me draw and create a dissertation on the various goblin species through different artists' eyes. All speculation, of course, but, you know.
Oh, Lisa Ballesteros is on today. Does that mean Maceo is on, the birthday boy?
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
So,
everybody say hi. Happy birthday to our friend Maceo, Maceo. We are going over to visit.
That's right. Happy birthday, Maceo. We'll see you soon. And for everybody else, thanks again for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow for the final daily episode. Daily. Big underline on daily. Make the word daily bold. Episode of Drawn to Fantasy.
Of what?
Drawn to Fantasy. Thank you guys.